Okay, so I got to be honest here. When I make videos about equipment or make videos about chemicals, they perform well, right? They crush. They get tons of views, and that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for business owners is customer acquisition because without customers, and good customers and lots of them, there is not going to be a huge need for equipment and chemicals. And yeah, without chemicals and equipment, it doesn't matter how many customers you have. But if you want to make more money, scale your business, you got to be good at marketing and you got to be good at selling. And today we are going to talk about sales. We're going to be talking about overcoming objections. And this was the comment that I read that inspired this video because I know it's something that we all deal with, right? And here it is. I often get asked and put on the spot with the question, wow, why so much and why is it so expensive? And I don't know exactly what I can say. What would you say, Mike? Well, before I answer this question, if you want to see more videos about sales, marketing, and business growth, comment I do down below and give this video a big old thumbs up, and that would make me really happy. Okay, so some people say that a salesperson's job really starts after the potential customer says no. And basically, what this means is that pretty much anybody can stand in front of a customer, give them a little sales pitch, talk to them a little bit about the service, and then give them a price. But the real challenge in the sales process increases significantly when it comes time to influence or overcome objections. And primarily, the major objection that we're going to deal with in the home service industry is pricing. Pretty much anybody with a business, anybody that's ever tried to sell something has run into objections about price. We've all heard that it's too expensive, right? The price is too high. I can't afford it right now. And just like this comment, a lot of folks don't know how to respond to these types of interactions. So in order to help you guys answer the question, not get blindsided or caught flat-footed, I want to share a few responses when you run into customers with objections like this. Okay, so the first thing to think about is what they are specifically talking about, right? You have to ask for context because in a vacuum, an objection to price can really mean anything. So you need to ask what they're comparing it to. A lot of times, maybe they're comparing it to somebody that did it previously for them, right? And that person had a really cheap price and they set the precedent very low. And if you watch the channel, you've heard my response to this type of interaction. And I say, wow, that is a great price. Why don't you give them a call back? And 9 times out of 10, their response is the phone is disconnected or they're no longer in business. And just asking a couple simple questions, asking what they're comparing it to is going to open up a conversation about your competition, the value that you offer, or even the prospect's budget. So the next thing that you can do is really emphasize or reiterate the value that you provide. If you didn't really do a good job in conveying it the first time around, which might have led to the pricing objection. Look, people need to believe that what they're buying is actually worth the price that they're paying, right? It's human nature. I'm the exact same way, and I'm sure you are too. But what this allows us to do is it gives us the opportunity to go over the value that we're providing, what they're getting for their money. And again, we need to talk about what their pain points are. We need to address them, the things that they've told you are important to them, right? So reiterate those. Basically, just repeat back to them the things that are important to them. And this is really going to help emphasize the value they're getting for the money that they're paying you. Okay, so another little psychological hack, if you will, that I like to throw out there on occasion when somebody raises price as their stumbling block, I like to ask them how they came to the conclusion that the price was too high or if our service was just too expensive. And basically what this does is it gives you a chance to hear their reasoning for why they think it's too expensive. At a minimum, this is going to give you the opportunity to come up with a response to their objection, right? And it's a lot easier to talk about specifics than it is to haggle over price without having any idea where they're coming from, right? Okay, so this next one works better on some services than others, but what I'm specifically thinking about is our highest margin service, and that's roof washing, right? And something that I personally like to ask is, what's it going to cost them if they do nothing? If they don't hire us, if they don't get the service done. And the reason I say this is because with services, specifically in the home exterior cleaning world, right? People hire us for a couple reasons, either because they just don't like the way something looks, right? Pure aesthetics. They want their stuff to look good, or they don't want their stuff to prematurely age, right? They want to take care of their stuff. It's just like changing the oil in your car. If you don't do it, the car is not going to last as long, right? So preventative maintenance, if you will. What's it going to cost if they let their roof deteriorate and then have to replace it 10 years early? Or the siding on their house gets so bad that the only way to get it looking better is to repaint. Those are significant costs for anybody. But with a little bit of preventative maintenance, it's going to cost them a lot less over the long run. You're going to prevent spending a shit ton of money on something way too soon. And this really works well with roof washing, right? Especially with the fact that insurance companies are now requiring some homeowners to clean their roofs in order to keep their policies intact. So something to think about. Great selling point. Okay, so this one may be a little bit out there for a lot of people because you're kind of opening up yourself, right? But something that I do on occasion, if I think the situation warrants it, is I'll ask them what they think is a fair price. And sometimes this might put them on the defensive, but it can also create an opportunity to figure out what they're actually thinking, right? Why they're coming to the conclusion that the price is too much. Not only that, but it's a pretty bold statement that's going to show that you're not only interested in what they have to say, but you're also comfortable having a discussion about price, which is always a plus. It's kind of a trust building thing, right? A relationship nurturing question that can definitely open up the door and allow you to negotiate a little bit better because you've got more information. Okay, so one other thing that you can do is dig a little deeper, ask more questions, because sometimes the price objection is just the first thing that you hear. It's the easiest thing for people to talk about, right? But it's important to dig a little bit deeper and ask questions to find out if there are any other reasons, any other concerns that you can address. But a lot of times what happens is people don't get to that point. They don't ask the questions because they get the pricing question first and they just stop, right? Tuck their tails between their legs and run off. But if you're asking the right questions, you might be surprised at the answers you get. And this, again, allows you to craft your pitch around their pain points, around their concerns in a way that conveys the value that you're going to bring to the table. Okay, and so the last thing, and it's something that I don't really love to do, but something that you can do is break down the price, right? I'd like to give a lump sum. Or we do options estimates where we're giving them a variety of services and the customer can choose from the things that we offer. But sometimes if pricing is the issue, just tell them that you can do it for the price that they want, but you're going to have to reduce the level of service. Now, maybe initially they wanted a house wash, a driveway cleaning, something like that. Then you give them the price. They say it's too much. And you say, well, maybe if you just want to do the house wash right now, we can do it for a number that fits within your budget. And then maybe we can come back at another time to do the driveway. Reduce the level of service. This reduces the price and it might fit their budget, and then everybody's happy. All right, guys, you got to remember that the first challenge with sales begins when you hear the first no. It's not just about making calls and presenting your service, right? It's about skillfully navigating and overcoming objections on pricing most of the time. So use the strategies that we talked about today to turn pricing objections into opportunities. And remember that every single objection is just a chance to get to know your customer a little bit better. And obviously you want to provide as much information and value as you can because they definitely want to get as much value as they can for the money that they're going to spend with you. And if you guys found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and strategies like this. And I promise I'll make you some more videos on equipment and chemicals.